Ways to be culturally responsive teacher. Let's say you have a student with physical disability. Make sure you use inclusive language and materials that best serve students so they can master the content to the best of their abilities. Next, you want to include representation in the curriculum. Lastly, encourage conversations between students about their differences. Don't shut down, but allow students to speak up and connect with each other. So whether a student has a physical disability that impacts their learning, or a non-visible disability such as depression, anxiety, or autism, you too can become culturally responsive.
Hi there. If the scenario didn't make sense, ideally if you have students who don't meet the abilities of the class or maybe don't meet what the class is made out of, you want to make sure that you're making mixed groups with mixed abilities just to make sure that everyone can feel represented and no one feels overshadowed maybe in the group. You also want to make sure you give students roles so you can keep track of their work and that there's not just one student who's doing everything. Even though like making a TikTok and things like that might be culturally relevant, it might not be culturally relevant to all students, which is really something to consider about what fits the needs of the community and what fits the needs of your students. So always make sure to have a backup plan in case, and also to make sure that you have roles assigned so those students can shine to their best of their ability. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. So what we're going to be doing is recording a scenario where Lillian is my friend she is going to act as an English language learner and a student that has recently immigrated to the US into my class. She has some trouble participating and is a little bit more shy, and so we're gonna act out scenarios that you can increase student engagement, okay? So in choice A, which is going to start now, after you finish reading a book, you're cold calling on the student. So we're gonna act that out. All right. So class, we just finished reading The Pout Pout Fish. Lillian, what do you think the fish felt at the beginning of the story?
I think he was he was sad. He was sadder.
All right, and end scene. Okay, so that is what would happen if you cold called the student. It doesn't really leave a lot of room for interaction between students. And so we're gonna show you different, or give her a lot of think time to process mentally as she is an ELL. So let's do a second scenario, okay? In choice B, you have using a multiple response strategy by letting her write and letting all your students write on sticky notes to say their answers, and then they'll be sticking it on an anchor chart paper. So if I had an anchor chart here, that's where they would stick it, but she's going to pretend over there. Okay, so start. We just finished the book, The Pout Pout Fish. So I want everybody to take their sticky note and their pencil and to write how they think the fish felt at the beginning of the story. And when you're done, please stick it on the anchor chart paper. I'm gonna give you guys 2 minutes. Can you show us your sticky note?
Yes. So it says the fish was sad at the beginning.
Awesome. Okay, and then we're gonna do choice C, which is having literacy buddies or a bilingual pair. So if you're in a general education classroom, you can call them literacy buddies, but if you're in a bilingual classroom, you might already have bilingual pairs. And so this helps the student, one, have more interactions, more natural interactions with their peers, two, gives you more think time and helps, and three, helps with the communication portion of developing English language skills as well. So we're gonna act that out. So choice C. All right, class, we just finished reading The Pout Pout Fish. I want you to turn and talk to your literacy partner about how you think the fish felt at the beginning of the story versus how you think he felt at the end. Okay, so you're gonna turn knee to knee, eye to eye, look at your partner, and I'm gonna give you guys 2 minutes to talk. Okay, so go ahead.
So I think that at the beginning of the story, he was a lot sad. Everybody thought that he was sad, and then when when the fish kissed him, he was happier because he found that his purpose in life was to be a kissing fish, and so he was a lot happier. So he was smiling at them, which meant that it looks like he was happier. What do you think?
Awesome.
Okay.
So that's what it could look like in your classroom as well. So these are just a couple of strategies. And if it was me in my classroom, I would try to do the literacy pitch just to continue the students' interactions with each other. Another way that you can extend this and extend the cultural responsive teaching element is as you know that you have a new student who is an EL from another country, send out a group project about family ancestry. Every person can cut and paste a picture and describe a little bit about their family members, where they come from, and what they love about their family. And then you can make a huge family tree in your classroom so students can feel seen. And that is my scenario and my advice. I hope that this has helped. Thank you so much. Bye, Lillian.
Bye.
Hi, so today what we're going to do is we're going to show you another little aspect of culturally responsive teaching and where bias is underlying in your teacher. So I'll be playing the teacher. My fiance Caleb will be playing a student who doesn't know English. In this scenario, we're going to show you something that you shouldn't do, which is you don't read your paperwork and you have no idea that your student doesn't speak English. So I'm going to walk up to Caleb. I'm just going to start talking to him, and we'll see what happens. So, hi, oh my gosh, I'm Mr. Pineda. It's really, really great to meet you. I hope you're having a really good day. How are you feeling today?
No hablo inglés.
See, perfect. See, scenario A, you did the wrong thing. You walked up to your kid, you didn't read your paperwork, he had no idea that he didn't speak English. Scenario 2 is a step in the right direction. I haven't read the paperwork yet, but rather than giving like all these crazy things in between, I'm going to start right with an open-ended question. That way, whenever I actually start talking to him, I can see that there's something wrong and I probably should have done a little more work on my side. Hi, Mr. Pineda. How are you? What's your name?
No hablo inglés.
See, in this scenario, he immediately told me he didn't speak English. So I kind of knew what was happening, and I knew that I wasn't going to get any help, and I wasn't going to be able to help him. In this last scenario, I read my paperwork. I knew what I'm supposed to do. I know that not every child who looks white or looks like they are from a Spanish country speaks the language that they're coming from. So I read my paperwork and I did a lot of Google translating before I did this because I wanted to make a good impression on my student and let him know that I'm there for him and I'm going to try my best to help him. So this last scenario is probably one that you'd want to follow. So here we go. Hola, yo soy Profesor Pineda. ¿Cómo estás?
Hola, muy bien, gracias.
See, whenever you do the right thing and you do your paperwork, you do the right thing for your students. So choice A, don't do it. Choice B, you could do it, but would you really be the best? Choice C?
Hi everyone, so we're back. So I'm here to introduce 2 activities that you can use in your classroom to promote and celebrate culture, okay? And they involve just some simple materials. First thing you'll need are some plates, right? Easy material for you to get a class set and use. So let's talk about the first activity. On the first few days of school, I encourage you to have your students create themselves using a plate or construction paper, anything that they can use to represent themselves. Make sure you have lots of construction paper, yarn, colors, paints, so that students can create themselves the way they see themselves, right? I would suggest different materials so you can show different hair textures, different eye colors, different skin tones, so your students will be able to take pride in making an image of themselves. Then, the second part, take those plates or projects that the students have made and put them in your classroom so that each day when your students enter, they see a reflection of them and a reflection of their other classmates in the classroom. Sounds fun, right? All right, second activity. This activity is called What's on Your Plate. So again, it involves the same materials, right? But this is to develop an understanding of culture when it comes to different foods and cooking styles. So what you do is you encourage your students to create a famous meal that they make at home, something that's really special to them. It may be a meal that they only make on certain holidays. It may be a meal that their grandparents taught their parents how to make and that they're now learning, create that food on this plate. I would help out by providing different, maybe cooking magazines or pictures of foods from all around the world. Have the students create what's on their plate and share with others. This activity can be used when putting students into small groups, when having morning circle, or when just having a turn and talk. Have the students tell another student why their plate is important to them, why this is a wonderful aspect of their culture. Kick it up a notch and have their partner share with the class about something they learned from their partner. So are you guys ready to implement some awesome aspects of culture in your classroom? I know you'll do great.
At this point, you might find yourself asking, how do I start building relationships with my students? And one way that I've done that is I have a high population of students who speak a different language at home. So what I've done is I let those students use their home language in class, and I let them have opportunities to teach me some of their language. So it's not always me being the only one teaching. It gives us both a chance to have a say in how things are run in our class, and it lets them take some ownership over their home language, and it's not like I am just pushing it under because English is the language that we speak in our class. It lets them have a different type of relationship with me, so it's not all, we're doing math right now, we can only be doing math. I want to make sure I'm building that connection with them so they can have the context in their native language as well as in English, their second language.